Back at it with another live stream. You heard? Let me send these links out to social media one time. Give me one sec. Should be real quick, real quick. There we go. All right, man. You see the title, you know what I mean? Sheffield born fighter, the special one, special case, Kell Brook. Well, the man seems like he hit rock bottom after those losses he took to Errol Spence and Triple G. You know what I'm saying? As you all recall, the man jumped up in weight at a point in time. To me, it was a tactic, in my opinion, to avoid the other welterweights in the division at the time. You know what I mean? Because Kell Brook did have a scheduled unification at the time, welterweight bout versus Jesse Vargas, who at that time, around the same time period when he fought the man Triple G, Jesse Vargas held the WBO belt. You know what I mean? WBO welterweight belt, and he was willing to go to England to fight the man, and it was already scheduled. They had a date at the time. Jesse Vargas was with Top Rank. They was ready to fly out over there, and all of a sudden, you know what I mean, the man Special K pulled out of that fight because apparently he got a bigger and better fight fighting Triple G, a man who was two weight classes above him, a man who was obviously much bigger than him, a man who is the best middleweight in the world at the time, you know what I mean? Probably still till today, you know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens with Triple G or come Cinco de Mayo versus Canoli. But the man Kell Brook, he put up a valiant effort versus Triple G. You know what I mean? Triple G came out to England. You know what I'm saying? It was a big event over there. But unfortunately, Kell Brook's corner had to stop the fight because Kell Brook, he sustained a broken eye socket. You know what I mean? And that fight only went 5 rounds, okay? So, some people gave Kell Brook a lot of credit for going up there to fight a middleweight. They said he's brave. I wasn't of that theory, you know what I mean? I wasn't the one clamoring and saying, whoa, what a brave fighter he is. I just thought, the outcome was inevitable, you know what I mean? I didn't think the man had any shot at beating Triple G, you know what I mean? He made it look good for a round or two in that fight, catching Triple G with flush punches. But ultimately, man, Triple G's heavy hands, man, he put hands on Kell Brook and he broke his eye socket. You check it, but that was on, I believe, his right eye. You check it, and the man, Kell Brook, came back, and he fought his mandatory, Errol Spence. You know what I mean? A fight which I give him credit for taking that fight. That was a fight a lot of people, including myself, thought that it wouldn't happen. Um, Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing, and Kell Brook were using a lot of stalling tactics to not fight the man Errol Spence, you know what I mean? But eventually, hey, they brought the man Errol Spence over to England, you know what I mean? Again, another fighter comes over to England, to fight the man in his backyard, you know what I mean? In Errol Spence's Kell Brook's backyard of Sheffield at Bramall Lane. That's where his favorite soccer team where he grew up, Sheffield United, plays, you know what I mean? So he got a fight right in his backyard with all those fans who wear red, and he got what he wanted, you know what I mean? But unfortunately for him, Brooke was beaten, and his left eye socket by Errol Spence, and his left eye socket this time was broken by the man Errol Spence, you know what I mean? So, that's two back-to-back losses for Kell Brook, a man who was undefeated, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm sure that was a new experience for the man, you know what I mean? This was basically, parameters that the man hadn't been in, you know what I'm saying? Kell Brook. So, the man actually suffered depression, and I'm going to read you some quotes from what the man said, you know what I mean, on how he turned the alcohol, you know what I'm saying, and how he was just had a hard time even waking up and getting out of bed because of what happened between Errol Spence and Triple G, you know what I mean? So, quote, I'm going to read some quotes. Quote, I was really that low. I didn't want to go on. People don't know that. I hit rock bottom around Christmas. You know what I'm saying? I remember sitting on my own thinking, no one loves me. What have I done to myself? What have I done to the people that do love me? I was at home and my missus and kids were out. I thought I've let I've let people down who really love me. It was very bad. I was thinking of retiring. Things weren't great at home. I was a lost soul, the lowest I've ever been. I was going out, drinking a lot. When I was drinking, I was thinking I was having a good time, but it came back twice as bad, the depression. It was just a vicious cycle, drinking, not caring about myself, and it gave me a bad low. End quote. So, that's how the man, Kell Brook, that's how he felt after them losses, man. I'm sure it's hard, man. The man fought and he gave up a good fight, man. That the man has no reason to be depressed or turn into alcohol. You know what I mean? The man gave a good fight over there in Bramall Lane. That was one of my favorite fights of 2017. You know what I mean? Errol Spence just overwhelmed him. You know what I mean? The combination punching, power punching of Errol Spence, it took toll in the later rounds and it broke the man's eye socket. But I'm sure from the outside looking in, it could be depressive for the man because he's fighting in his hometown. He finally got that big showdown in his hometown. Eddie Hearn and them, they put up a lot of money to make that event happen. You know what I'm saying? And to come up short in front of all your fans who swore up and down that Kell Brook will run through Errol Spence. I'm sure, man, it was a tough time for him. Hence the reason why he says he hit rock bottom. You know what I mean? You check it, and the man also, was feeling a kind of way because people said he quit against Errol Spence and Triple G. You know what I mean? And this is what he had to say about that quote: "I was seriously injured, and then when you've got children, when the surgeon said one more big shot from Golovkin and you'd be blind, you still don't want to stop. But Spence knew I was a wounded animal. At first, you can really feel the pain with the adrenaline. It's more than noise. It's more than noise your eyes makes. It's like a crab claw popping. You can really hear it. I went like this with my glove on. I went like this with my glove to try put the eye back in place because it drops and puffs out. And when I breathe, I could feel the air coming in and out of my eye." End quote. Hey man, I didn't ever accuse the man, Kell Brook, for quitting. You know what I'm saying? You try fighting with an eye socket, an eye basically popping out of your eye, and you got to keep pawing at your eye to try to put the eye back in place. You know what I mean? That's just you know, it's easier said than done from us sitting on our couches just watching these fights. You know what I mean? The man took a hellacious beating to the eye, whether he has weak eye sockets or whatnot, because it wasn't like, I'm not gonna say, he does say that, Spence felt like, hold on, what did he say? He said something to the effect, oh yeah, he said Spence knew I was a wounded animal. Yeah, he was wounded in that fight, but actually Spence targeted the other eye, the one that was not dislocated by Triple G, you know what I mean? So whether he knew he was a wounded animal or not, Errol Spence did what he had to do, but Kell Brook should not be feel any way or depressed or anything. He lost to the best welterweight in the world right now, you know what I'm saying? And right now, Kell Brook, hey, if Kell Brook thought he had anything else to give at 147, he'd probably still be there. But, the man says it's hard to make that weight. And now he's at a 154, you know what I mean? And he will be facing Sergey Rabchenko, you know what I'm saying, at light middleweight. And that would be next month, you know what I'm saying? I believe in sometime in March. So, this was a very revealing and telling testimony from the man, Kell Brook, you know what I'm saying? And, I like Kell Brook, you know what I mean? I've never had no reason to not like him. The man put some money in my pocket. I picked him to beat, to come to the United States and beat the man, what's his name? Shawn Porter, you know what I'm saying? I was very happy with my decision that day. You check it, and, you know, I just thought he was the better boxer. He was more formidable. He was a big guy. He wasn't a guy that like Paulie Malignaggi, who Shawn Porter had fought. You know what I mean? This was a big, strong welterweight, and Kell Brook came to the United States and handled his business. You know what I mean? But as far as him being depressed and whatnot, I really do feel sorry for the man. But hopefully, this is the second chapter of his career. You know what I mean? The man had been at welterweight for like 13, 14 years before he took his first loss. This is basically the second chapter of his career, and he's at 154, and we'll see what it do with him. You know what I mean? I see the man, legendary boxer in the chat. What's happening, big man? He says Spence will give Danny Porter and Thurman depression also after he stops him. Yeah, hey, if he, especially if he does to those American welterweights, what Spence did to Kell Brook, it's gonna be hard for those guys to recover as well. You know what I mean? They might not be showing on the outside, you know what I'm saying, showing the public that they depressed and going through a lot of stuff, but man, and that's exactly the reason why right now they're avoiding Errol Spence at all costs. You know what I mean? They know what's gonna happen, the feeling they might have after they take that L to Spence. You know what I'm saying? And hey man, these fighters gotta work, tune up their skills, and go to the gym and you know by all means necessary, do what they have to do to try to conquer those demons and get in the ring with Errol Spence, you know what I mean? Because that fighting around Errol Spence stuff ain't gonna cut it, you know what I mean? You check it. Y'all fellas will not get the TV viewership from real fans if you're not fighting the guys who you're really supposed to fight, you know what I mean? And that's Errol Spence. That's a fight, especially Keith Thurman and Spence. Both of these guys are not stars by no means. You check it, so there's nothing to marinate, like Keith Thurman keeps saying. You know what I mean? There's nothing to build up. The fans want it right now. Keith Thurman says, man, he's not on the fans' time. Well, hey, man, your viewership, your ticket sales might suffer if you don't go in the ring and fight this guy Errol Spence sooner than later. Excuse me. It's the unification the world wants to see, and welterweight. We felt like when Floyd Mayweather was, excuse me, was at welterweight, things weren't moving and shaking as far as unification. So he did unify with Manny Pacquiao, but I'm talking about with the other belt holders. You know what I mean? But hopefully that same scenario doesn't keep going on with these new welterweights that we have right now. You know what I'm saying? Boxing chat, and legendary boxer says in the chat, Porter and Danny are chicken and ducks. Thurman at least beat Danny and Porter back to back. He says you should go live in the evening. More people will be online. Yeah, well, yeah, that's a possibility. You know what I mean? But sometimes, man, in the evening, man, I be more busy. You know what I'm saying? I try to do these videos. You know what I mean? When I go live in the morning, I just came back from vacation. There were times when I was going live in the morning where I was at, and it'd be like in the AM hours in the United States, you know what I mean? So regardless, that's a good idea, but as long as people still hear it on the archives, it's all good with me. But I appreciate you coming in the chat, legendary boxer. You make some good points. I can't disagree with nothing you say. Yeah, no question, Thurman beat Danny and Shawn Porter back to back, you know what I'm saying? But still, they have an opportunity to fight Errol Spence and Kenny Porter and Shawn Porter, man. They've been talking a whole lot of ish, man. They full of ish like a bathroom, you know what I mean? Talking about, why would we fight for the IBF? They're like, dude, man, and they saying they'd fight Errol Spence for no belt, no sanctioning body, nothing, no sanctioning fees. We just fight for prize fighting. Yeah, why didn't you ever say that when fellas been putting pressure on you for over a year to fight Shawn Porter? I'm sorry, Errol Spence. That's just the kind of excuse he's coming up with now, you know what I mean? Trying to deviate from the problem, you know what I mean? And the problem is you don't want to get in the ring with Errol Spence, and it's apparent, but you got all the machismo and to go at the man Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman, you know what I mean? Easier said than done, you know what I mean? I like that fight with Shawn Porter and Keith Thurman. I had it a draw. I would like to see a rematch, but that's also up to that's why Shawn Porter would really like that fight again. Maybe he feels he won, but hey man, there are other champions out there besides Keith Thurman, you know what I mean? So yo, B March Boxing about to seal the deal on this live stream, you know what I mean? Big ups to my man, legendary boxer, for coming through, giving some insight and his thoughts about the welterweight division. And I wish Kell Brook all the best, you know what I mean, in his recovery from depression. And alcoholism is not a good trait for a boxer, you know what I mean? That's one thing you can't be doing, drinking and smoking, you know what I mean? You got to keep your body in optimal shape. Your body's a temple, and it'll only pay you dividends in the ring when you're firm, fit, and you got your stamina, and you're a world-class athlete, you know what I mean? So we'll see if that alcohol will catch up to the man Kell Brook, you know what I'm saying? Be March Boxing. Leave your thoughts and comments. I'm gone.